I was 18 when I stepped into my first managerial role, and I was a camp counselor and a coordinator of camp counselors at the YMCA, and I oversaw 5 people. The following year, I was director of the YMCA camps, and I went from overseeing 5 people to overseeing 35 people. A pretty big jump in leadership, a career move. Not long after, I had my next leadership role, which was with Good Life Fitness, managing a location. And I was fitness manager overseeing the personal training department. So I was overseeing 7 people. And then the year following that, I was general manager overseeing all employees of that club location, which was 26 people. And 4 years after that, I was in London, Ontario at a flagship club for Good Life Fitness, overseeing 60 employees. What I've learned in my career in leadership is leaders with high emotional intelligence have employees that are 4 times less likely to leave. As I developed my emotional intelligence, what I recognized in my own leadership were my skills around developing relationships with people, communicating in those relationships, and then amping up the leadership pillar skills of coaching and insight. Coaching is the interaction with other people that you are leading that basically elevates their skill set so that they exceed goals they even knew they were capable of. And insight is our capacity in skills around communication to motivate and move people towards a mission, a purpose, to exceed the goals that are put out in front of them. So these 2 leadership pillars are power skills in employee engagement, which ends up being a power skill in employee retention. In 16 years when I was in learning and development, I moved from overseeing a team of 4 people to a team of 7 people to then being the head of a complete departmental shift where we were 41 people in learning and development, and we resulted in 14 people in learning and development. And the reason of that shift was we needed to be able to save money. But in essence, we needed to be able to strategically look at the business and be able to say, what are we doing that's working and what needs to change and how does that need to then change? And going about making those strategic decisions with emotional intelligence at the forefront resulted in a 98% retention of those employees that went from a department of 41 to a department of 14. So a 98% employee retention, I attribute 100% to skills and emotional intelligence. And I want to be able to share something with you here. What I am sharing in this recording is my emotional intelligence profile in 2014, which was 6 years ago. And this was 3 years before that dramatic shift. Now, emotional intelligence is not just about, do I know what my emotions are? Am I aware of what they are as a leader? Am I aware of how they're impacting me and how they're impacting other people? Emotional self-awareness is one particular skill in emotional intelligence, and it is a key foundational skill in emotional intelligence, as we can see here. But what is really interesting and unique about growing our emotional intelligence as leaders is that the foundation of emotional self-awareness makes reaching and using the other EQ skills that much more impactful, because we need to have the awareness first before we can regulate and then before we can shift behavior. See, the key word here is emotional intelligence is skill-based. We learn how to use these skills no matter what our personality type is, because personality has nothing to do with emotional intelligence, with the exception of our personality type will generally mean we have certain skills in certain emotional intelligence areas. So what I want you to kind of pay attention to here is When we take a look at the emotional intelligence skills in the EQI 2.0 model, we're going to see things like assertiveness, our ability to communicate beliefs, feelings, thoughts in a non-offensive, socially effective, acceptable way, defend personal rights and personal values. But we also see empathy, which is understanding, appreciating how other people feel, and then responding with respect to their feelings, to their beliefs, to their perspective. These can also feel like they are in conflict to each other. But the truth in emotional intelligence is these live in the same space as each other. This is how we innovate, co-create. This is how we collaborate together. This is how we put all of our ideas in the pool, and then from those ideas, we create something that is completely unique, wherein each of us wins emotionally, wins performance-wise, that we win as a team and as a unit. And so it is emotional intelligence that allowed me to be in the top 90% of top performers when it came to leadership. It is emotional intelligence that allowed me to maintain a 98% retention rate of all of my employees. It's emotional intelligence that day in and day out is why I am so well, is why I have levels of happiness in the tough times and in also the great times. So where's the lesson? The lesson is, where are we going to invest in our leaders? And I would highly encourage, as all of the research points to, that it is emotional intelligence.